Sounds like the perfect research unit. Maybe even better than a human.
Well, let's not exaggerate.
Of course, I wasn't being serious. However helpful they may be, they're still just tools in the hand of man, often faulty. Oh, we have a problem.
Something serious?
I already mentioned the faulty machines, right? Well, the route determined by the algorithm goes over a chasm.
I can repeat the command.
No. I'll go around.
Unfortunately, this is an outdated model. Such mistakes are inevitable. But the perception module itself has already been greatly improved. Its accuracy increases exponentially.
Exponentially? Can you imagine us, proteinaceous creatures, developing so quickly, sir?
No, not in the course of evolution. You can't perfect a person like that.
That's right, you can't. We wait thousands of years for visible changes.
Oh, have you started to fear for your position?
Well, everything indicates that the clear distinction between humans and robots will soon disappear.
And then what?
We won't be limited by our own abilities. Robots will excel in areas where we either cannot or do not want to surpass them. To put it bluntly, they will do the dirty work for us.
And we'll just sit in the warm privacy of a laboratory? Send them to the other side of the universe?
Yeah, that's one example.
Well, I don't know.
Shh, Astrogator. Can you hear that?
What am I supposed to be hearing?
That's the point. Nothing. Silence. We're talking about robots, and Dr. Gorski still hasn't spoken on the channel.
Well, I don't know. He must be a long way from here.
Dr. Gorski, are you here somewhere? These bushes are kind of weird.
You better stay away, Doctor. I'd like a brief description. Just keep a distance.
Allow me to use the language I would use to describe living forms, sir.
Of course.
So they look like pituitary, brush-like formations. They can be singular, though in some locations they create a uniform thicket that covers the walls of the ravine in a rusty brush-like layer. They grow out of cracks in the bare rock. They're high, more or less, from 1 to several meters. That's how it looks, to put it briefly.
Would you also venture to guess their significance? Some function, purpose?
Staying on the topic of biological analogies, which in itself is already a major scientific distortion.
Yes, I understand. These are not real plants.
But if they were plants, those protruding parts climbing up, They would serve to obtain energy, mainly solar. Astrogator, Gorski's not here. I'm afraid he continued to explore. And if he went where I think he did, he might have lost contact with the camp as well as Dragonfly.
So we will most likely lose contact too.
Possibly. Well, there's only one way to be certain. It's your decision, sir.
Please continue your search. We have to find him.
You may lose another crew member.
If you think so. Turn back now.
No.
Delta.
The line's breaking up, but I understood. I'll let you know, sir, when I come out of the tunnel.
Altitude 24,000. Going smoothly, Hopper. Already at 12,000. Throttle down. 30 seconds till touchdown. Everything's looking good. Over?
Roger.
Altitude.
Hopper has landed. I repeat, Hopper has landed.
Loud and clear. Any side effects? Landing wasn't too hard on you? Hopefully.
I'm going outside.
Visibility?
100%. The dust has already settled.
What about that lander, Yasna? You think our people tried to fly away on it?
I seriously doubt it. Looks like a bad malfunction to me.
But I'm taking Hopper out of here. We can't afford to lose this lander too.
Astrogator, I don't know what we expected. Coming here at the end of our expedition. The equipment is barely working. If it works at all. And you, sir. You barely escaped alive. Okay, I admit that we have a very successful campaign behind us. But I feel like we've used up all our luck. And now, we're asking for trouble. It's just one planet too many for us.
Which doesn't change the fact we're here. Let's focus on completing this mission. There won't be another.
It better be that way. We have the right to come home at last.
I'm afraid I'm unfamiliar with such a law. But there is one thing I can refer to when we find ourselves in a difficult situation. If the continuation of the mission endangers the lives of the crew, the provisions of the imprimis homini law apply. First and foremost, the safety of people is what matters.
It's good to know we have this right. But I wish we didn't have to use it. Whoa. Damn. You were right, Cobble. It's beautiful here. I have an object in sight. This is where they searched the ocean's biocenosis.
Meaning... oh, where they caught that fish, right?
Yeah. They stopped here first, then walked along the coastline northward.
Correct. But I think you might consider taking a shortcut towards the east, straight to the camp.
Copy that. Heading east. stopped for a break.
How do you know? Are there any signs of the crew?
I found a cigarette butt and a pack. Someone was smoking here.
So, they didn't give a damn about the regulations.
Disrupting the ecosystem.
That's not the point. I understand you want to minimize the effects of our interference here, Doctor, but the mission's safety is at stake. I don't think I have to explain to you the dangers of igniting a dusty atmosphere. Preserving the integrity of Regis 3's already extinct ecosystem is not a priority in this scenario. Negligible, actually.
That's true. It's just, apart from keeping our crew safe, I also have academic concerns.
That's completely understandable.
Excuse my interruption, sir. Can you please confirm that I'm on the correct route?
Yes, I confirm. This rate will reach the camp within an hour. So, continuing, we must focus on the mission. It has the highest priority, always.
Forgive me, but such thinking is an anti-example of the galactocentric code. We should explore other worlds, while keeping our own interference to a minimum, whether in the solar system, in the far reaches. This route may be faster, but it's not the easiest. Anyway, back to our conversation.
Now, I've heard a thing or two about galactocentrism. Do not meddle in other non-human matters. Seize the void, but do not attack that which has developed its own equilibrium over millions of years. Do not consider anything other than human as either better or worse. It all sounds beautiful, Doctor. But no one will be satisfied with a void, or someone else's well-being. In my opinion, this is an idealized
What is this? Astrogator, I found a peculiar inorganic structure. It looks like some spiky metal growths.
Artificial plants? Is spontaneous growth possible with this type of structure?
I've never seen anything like this. I wish I had time to run some tests.
When the situation is stabilized, we will take samples. I promise.
Oh. I feel nauseous. Suddenly.
Please don't push it. Been on the surface for just under half an hour.
That's not it. I feel darkness. Hang on. Are you there? Over. I guess that's a no. What's going on, sir? Astrogator?
Dr. Yasna. I'm trying to resuscitate him, but...
No, please. Koval?
Dr. Krauser.
How? There was nothing wrong with him.
Hypervolemic shock. He bled out during the flight.
I still don't understand. He wasn't hurt.
His injuries must have occurred later. I found him like this when I entered Hopper.
I can't believe it. It was that damn robot. He must have dropped the doctor. Killed him.
No, Yasna, I, as commander, misjudged the situation. Everything indicates that the doctor had an accident after he left the camp on his own. I should have known he was endangering himself.
I confirm. Gorski was here. His rope is still hanging from the slope.
That's a good sign. since he left it, he intends to come back this way.
But why hasn't he yet? Going down after him.
I placed him in a quiet chamber. Should we look into their heads?
I have a feeling that will...
Just that report.
Oh, I'm at the end of the rope.
Isn't that good?
Not at all.
What do you mean?
I'm stuck. I'm hanging with all my weight on the rope, away from the wall. There's still a fair few meters left to the ground.
Can you go?
Using just my hands, strapped with all this extra weight? No. No good.
Is that safe? What's happening? Did you fall?
I jumped.
Oh, status, please. Can you walk? Please stop for a moment. Make sure you're all right.
No, there's no need for a delay. Dr. Gorski...
We had our last contact with Regis a few minutes after noon. Even then, Dr. Gorski was walking alone. Communications blew up shortly before he got here. He didn't take a tent. Anyway, what's the idea of doing it alone?
Damn. This place is amazing. It's all made up of these structures. Except they don't look like creations of nature anymore.
Maybe that's why Dr. Gorski, not to mention the Alliance.
Well, if we're looking for something on this planet, this could be it. These structures form entire multi-story complexes. They look like a city.
Are you saying that...
No. There's no point in jumping to conclusions yet. Left or right? Oh shit, they're telling me to glass cracked.
I wouldn't worry. What matters is that you're fine.
Anyway. Are you receiving a signal?
What signal?
From Dr. Gorski.
No, none. Why are you asking?
He tried to open up a connection, set up a transmitter.
There's nothing on the comms. But I'll check the record history. Please give me a moment.
The height of the entire complex is over 100 meters. Even 150.
And all made of this metal?
To a significant degree. I can't even see the bottom.
The structures go that deep?
Yes. I dread to think. What if Dr. Gorski fell down there?
I took that into account when calibrating the probe. It will examine the bottom. I'll let you know if... 2 more hours.
Huh?
That's all Gorski has left of oxygen, at best.
And at worst?
He's just finishing it up. Though it all depends on his activity.
If I remember correctly, the atmosphere here is breathable.
Basically, yes. Dr. Krauter, however, warned that the methane content...
I know. But the effects won't be immediate. That gives us a few extra hours.
How's the terrain? Those structures, are they still everywhere?
Yep. Wherever I look, there's metal. I see the probe. Has it found anything interesting?
The thermal scan lights up at your position. Other than that, it's one big ruin. Everything's cold, dead, and very, very old.
It's a bit like Pando.
What? I have no idea what you're talking about, Doctor.
A colony of populous tremoloids. American aspen. The new trees grow not from seeds, but from root suckers of old trees. As a result, it's one giant organism, thousands of years old.
So you're in a dead metal forest?
Huh, that does sound bizarre. Though maybe.
Doctor, something has been recorded after all. But there are plenty of errors in the transmission header.
Well then, sir, play it. Maybe we'll finally find out what's going on with the doctor.
Let's hope so.
Gorski to base. I repeat, this is Gorski. Base, come in.
No doubt, it's him. Now let's keep listening. But as soon as you report anything, Doctor, I'll stop the recording.
Fucker.
I can see the relay up close. Looks broken. This is starting to look like a deliberate diversion to me.
You may be right. The question is, who's behind all these disruptive activities?
That I don't know, sir.
Maybe let's go back to the recording.
I report. I've made an amazing discovery. Geometric structures that a thicket of bushy, pointed rods and slats. Mostly iron, but not only. Molybdenum, carbon, tungsten. All together similar to a giant integrated circuit. A million swarm of tangled cables. Not a trace of electric current, polarity, not even residual magnetism. Maybe once upon a time, centuries ago, petawatts or exawatts of power flowed this way. To compare with something, it's probably a machine. Some kind of information collective structure. Maybe it was some kind of electronic brain. It makes me think of the Lyrans. A race of extinct sentient beings. Supposedly, they knew about light astrogation before we invented the wheel. They had to save themselves from the explosion of Nova. They sent ships. The remains of those ships have been found, ashed to a chip glued together. I've seen hypothetical schematics. The structures here remind me of those. Okay, moving on. Readings.
Well, that's it. What follows is just a humming noise. Any thoughts, Doctor?
So far, it all leads to one conclusion. This is not a place for a man, nor for any humanoids.
Then